So there was this guy okay, so when you're on OnlyFans, there's many different ways to get subscribers. You can use your Instagram, your Twitter, just telling your friends about it and getting them to share it. But one of the biggest ways is off of Reddit. And that's how a lot of people get most of their subscribers. There was a guy that I met on Reddit that he couldn't make an OnlyFans, but we started texting via WhatsApp. And he basically told me, he's like, yeah, I can't get OnlyFans. I didn't really ask him, we didn't have that question, but a conversation. But he was like, yeah, I work for Apple and I can send you Apple products. You just have to send me like the photos that you do on OnlyFans. And I was like, fuck it, I guess. And so now I'm an owner of an iMac Pro. So that's been nice. And yeah, he's very specific on feet photos, which for me, I'm still not understanding.
Which is like, it's something I think I've been telling people all the time. It's like, it's really weird, especially for me, because I am a super anti-foot thing.
Me too. I'm not a foot person.
I don't like feet.
Me either.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about your feet, but just don't don't put them on my face. Don't put them anywhere.
I'm the exact same. Like, I don't like feet on me. I don't like putting my feet on other people. Like, I'm not a foot person at all. And so that honestly has probably been one of the most uncomfortable things that I've had to do is send feet photos because I don't get it. But whatever makes them happy.
The appeal of just feet is just crazy.
The amount of kinks that are out there is just insane. Like, it's just a wild world out there.
Well, the bondage that we're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, hold on.
I was like, wait, I don't know how to do knots, so I don't know what we're gonna do here.
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's funny because once you get into like all this stuff, it's funny how like BDSM is a very normal kink, which I feel like for a lot of people when they hear BDSM, especially if they're not in like sex work industry or anything, they're like, oh, that's crazy. Like you tie each other up or like you hit each other with like ropes or something, or like, some people do like wax or like it's just like all this stuff. And it's just funny to think that like that's actually the most like plain thing that's out there when it comes to like sex work industry or like OnlyFans and stuff. I want to get to the point where I can just sit in front of a video and eat food and someone's like, here's money.
There probably is. Yeah. There probably is.
Oh yeah, there's so many women out there that get paid so much money just to eat food. And I'm like,
and talking about wax, it's funny because I had slept with an older woman, and she was really into wax and dropping wax, and there was one point where she was dropping wax on her clitoris.
Oh.
And she was getting hot out of it, and I was like, ooh, that burns though, while we were having sex.
Yeah. Oh. Oh no.
And I was like, oh, that hurts. That definitely hurts. Ow. And I had to stop. I was like, hey, I like this. I like how we're but it's just I'm physically getting fucked up. I am not about to get fucked up.
No, was she using the right wax? Because there's specific wax.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of wax she was using.
Because there's some wax that, I guess technically you can use any candle, whatever turns you on, I guess. But there's specific wax that you can use that you burn and melt, and it's just supposed to, like, it'll be warm, but it doesn't let it heat up to where it burns you. Like, it's just for the warm effect of, like, however wax turns people on. I don't know. But... So maybe she was just using regular candles.
Yeah, I think so. Like, oh shit, like, nope. But that's crazy, right? Like, that's like, to me, I thought it was pretty nuts to see that in real life, in real action. I was like, oh wow, like this is a thing. Like, this is really happening right now.
If we're gonna talk about weird sex stories, I got one for you.
All right, go ahead.
So there was this guy that I was dating for a little bit, and we had the conversation of like our sexuality and stuff like that, and he had brought up that he was bi-curious, and I like wanted to bring that especially if I was like kind of seeing him, dating him stuff, I wanted to bring it into like a like safe area and be like, okay, cool, let's talk about this. Let's, you know, bring all this up. And I'm all for one, exploring in the bedroom, 100%. Like, free reign of like, you want to try this, we'll try it out. I don't know if I'm into it, but I'll try it, see what's going on.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt unless it hurts me permanently. Then it's my then you're like me,
no,
you're
can't
like,
do it.
Nope.
And so I had like a lot of conversations with him, being like, hey, like, you know, what are you into, what turns you on, do you have any kinks? And he was very adamant of being like, no, you know, I like what we're doing already, and you know, I'm not into anything like specific and stuff like that. And so I was like, all right, cool, like I guess like we'll just continue what we're doing. And there had been 2 times where, one, I apologized to my roommate's boyfriend multiple times because he and her were asleep in the next room, and I was very drunk, very drunk, and had no idea, and he was very drunk, and I was trying to be very quiet, and obviously we were not. And unfortunately, my roommate's boyfriend had to hear this, but the first time we got very like drunk, and he had asked me to spit in his mouth, and that I had not done before, and I was like, okay, like, okay. And so like obviously like ended up happening and stuff, and then the next day I went to have a conversation with him about it, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't remember that. And I was like, well, if that's your kink, like, let's talk about it. And he was like, well, no, it's not really what turns me on. And I was like, what? But you, like, in the middle of it, you asked me for this. And so like that's what kept confusing me. And so then there was a second time, and I feel so bad because my roommate's boyfriend heard that, and he was like, did you spit in his mouth last night? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. He was like, all I heard was you spit, and I had no idea what was going on. I know, I felt so bad. And then the second time, like, we were again drunk, and we had so many conversations where I brought up to him, like, let me know what turns you on and stuff, and every time he was like, no, I enjoy what we're doing. So I'm going down on him, and I'm giving him a blowjob, and like, I'm doing me. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna play with his balls or whatever, because I know that guys enjoy that and stuff. And then as I do that, he goes to grab my hand without having a conversation with me or anything, and tries to get me to stick my finger up his butt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, we're just going south. We're just going the deep south.
Yep. And so, like, I, like, stopped for a second, and I got up, and we continued having sex, and afterwards, like, again, I tried to bring it up to him, and I was like, is that something you're into? Like, do you want to try this out with me? Like, let's have a conversation about this. Yeah. Don't just bring it up randomly. And again, he was just like, no, like, that's not what I'm into, or whatever, and, like, it's no big deal, or whatever. And I was like, it was just so interesting to me that, like, in the middle of sex he would do it, but when we had a conversation about it, he'd be like, no.
You think it was like really insecure about like how you would take it, maybe when it's not the heat of the moment?
Maybe, and that's why I tried to explain to him that it's not that I'm not into it. I would just rather have a conversation first and not be surprised by it.
Look, let's just put it this way. Well, I'll say it. So we're, you know, I've sucked some toes before, but they were like, it was the heat of the moment. Like, I wouldn't do it like dead sober, like be like, oh, let me just suck them toes. Like, it was the heat of the moment, and if it happens, it's just be like, just admit it. Be like, hey, it was the heat of the moment.
And like, that's like,
no,
that's fair. And I feel like I probably should have more been in the moment. To me, it was just like afterwards. Why couldn't he have been like, yeah, I enjoyed that, or like, yeah.
Or you could have, like I said, like, just been like, because I know the girl that, because it was my high school sweetheart. Yeah, it happened. And she's like, so you're into toe thing? I was like, no, it's just like the heat of the moment. It's just the heat of the moment.
Oh, I will say though, I did help a dude find out that he was into his toes getting sucked. That was an interesting discovery for me and him, because that's what made me realize I never want to do this again. Ooh. And I don't like this. And he was like, I don't know why, but this really turns me on. And I was like, ugh, we're not on the same level. Yeah. he sucked some toes too. Yeah, that made me realize I'm not a foot person. Like, I wasn't a foot person before that, but that put me on the deep end of being like, no, never again.
Damn. See, because it's like me being drunk, like, oh yeah, like especially because like so I'll say this story. So it was my friend's house party or housewarming party, and I think it was like 2 days before my birthday, and it was like on the weekday. So I was like, you know what? I don't really want to celebrate it. Like on the weekday, let's just like. I literally didn't drive my car on purpose, so I won't have to drive home.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna leave my car at home, blah blah blah. Like I'm not like got dropped off when it was fun. Whatever, got fucked up.
Yeah.
And a girl from like my high school was there, which we all used to know and whatever. And we got fucked up, and next thing I know, I'm like in her car. Next thing I know, I'm in her car eating her ass. And I'm just like, is this really, like in my head, like I was really drunk, but I'm like, is this really happening? Yeah. The weird part about it is that we were like making out for like 4 hours after that.
Damn.
And I was just like, why is my mouth so fucking dry right now? Like, am I eating ass right now? This is really what's happening. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if this is gonna be cut, but it's probably gonna be in there. But like I said, heat of the moment.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, I just love. Next thing you know, I'm eating her ass. I don't know. Oh, that's too funny. Oh my god.
But I mean, like I've and even that, like for me, sexually, like I have to be emotionally invested. That's why it's funny because I always say this joke all the time. It's like you want to get the passionate one, like the one that like he'll probably like really treat you well and like make sure you ejaculate, make sure I wouldn't say ejaculate, but make sure you come, make sure you do, you know, really take care of you. Yeah. Like, or do you want the jackrabbit, which I'm just like, it's just gonna be a quick one, like boom, 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 and then like, you know, bye. You know,
I've had my fair share of those.
But you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you know what, just get it over with. Like, we've been having sexual, like I've heard women told me this, like, you know what, we've been having sexual tension for a minute. Do you just want to fuck? And I'm, what?
I've been in those positions. I understand what they're saying. Quick story about guys being fast. I don't want to put this guy on blast, but
we never say names.
Yeah, no, so it's fine. There is this guy. This was probably like a few years ago, and the funny part is he still hits me up to this day, which is, I think, hilarious. But a few years ago, which actually also works into the whole sexual tension thing too. I lived with some people for a little bit, and it was one of their siblings. And while I was living with them, like, there's definitely sexual tension between me and him. And for me, I was like, well, I live here. I'm not gonna like make things weird. Like, I'll have some kind of respect in that area. And so then I end up moving out, and like I think like months goes by or something like that, and he messages me, and we're kind of like chatting up a little bit, and we're definitely flirting. And he, for me, which anybody who's younger, please just don't take offense to this, but it's my own personal rule. I can't have sex with anybody who's younger than me. Like, I don't have that connection there. Like, for me, anybody that I've had sex with who's younger than me, I just haven't met anyone that's younger that has the same experience, so it's hard for me to have sex with people who are younger. Of course. And so he was younger, but he was talking up to like this mad game, and I was like, all right, like, I got respect for that. Like, you have confidence in yourself. Like, I'll give you a chance. We hook up, but he comes over, and I'm living with a bunch of dudes at this point, and like the dudes know that like I just hooked up randomly, like, all the time. So I was like, oh, I'm about to go hook up with this guy, like, I'll be back later, blah, blah, whatever. So this dude comes, picks me up in his truck, we go find somewhere to, like, park or something. We have sex. Lasted for maybe a minute. Maybe. Like, I kid you not, this was the fastest sex I had probably ever had in my life. Definitely didn't come at all. Like, it was very short. I come back home within 5 minutes, and they're like, wait, what happened? I thought you were going to hook up with this dude. And I was like, I did. And they were like, oh, no. Like, they were all just like, oh, shit. That wasn't good. And so after that, he hit me up so many times afterwards, and he was like, oh, let's hook up again. And I was like, no, I'm good. And as a girl, like, I try to be as like nice as I can about